Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about data integrity in this part 2 video. I will post link of part 1 of data integrity video in the description section. In part 1 video I have already covered principle of data integrity risk assessment, data criticality and risk, design robust compliance system. In this part 2 video I'm going to talk about data interpretation and good documentation practice. What information are considered as data? It is an original records, true copies of original records, source data like printout from HMI human machine interface, like steam in place, clean in place, autoclave printout, balance printout, HPLC, FTIR data, metadata, reports printouts, any information recorded at the time of activity performed. Data allows to reconstruct and evaluate carried out GMP activity on later date. Good documentation practice are those measures that collectively and individually ensure documentation, whether paper or electronic or combine of both, are following the principles of Alcoa Plus. I will discuss Alcoa Plus later on this video. Documents used for GMP purpose should comply with good documentation practice. The documents such as BMR batch manufacturing records, logbooks, specification, SOP, analytical method, protocol, qualification document, certificate of analysis, technical agreement, PQR, document handling procedure such as retention, archive and periodic review policy. Alcoa. What does Alcoa stand for? Attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate. Attributable. Clear who has captured and document the data, who is writing the data in short. Legible. Readable and stay in permanent format throughout the data life cycle. Contemporaneous. Recorded at the time of activity performed. It shouldn't recorded on later on. Original. First recorded data, not true copy. Accurate. True representation of the fact. There shouldn't be any modification on the raw data. Alcoa Plus. In addition to Alcoa, there are few other requirements for the data integrity. It's consistent. All the data recorded in a same way or similar format. Complete. Complete pack of data including metadata or any supportive data into this pack. Enduring. Long-lasting durable storage, paper or electronic. Available. Retrievable and accessible for review. It should be easily retrievable whenever it is required. What is raw data? Raw data is an original report, first captured information and should endure during life cycle of data. Raw data could be paper or electronic or combination of both. If data captured electronically and print as per requirement, then electronic data is a raw data which can reproduce as a print. If electronic system does not store data, then printout is the raw data, as it is not reproducible. If electronic system have limited storage capacity, then data should be periodically reviewed and a paper copy to keep during the data life cycle. Electronic data storage, backup and periodic review to carry out as per the site procedure. What is metadata? Metadata describe the attribute of other data and provide context and meaning, such as audit trail. It is a part of original data, but original data has no meaning if context not provided by metadata. For an example, material X batch number 1234 required 10 gram for process step, initial and date. So this information is metadata, and that will be the part of the original data. What is data governance? Any form of data generation are recorded, processed, retained, and available to use for data lifecycle at any point of time. Data ownership and accountability. Data access restriction handling encourage reporting of error, omission out of specification. So maintaining the data and handling of the data and control of data is basically data governance. What is data lifecycle? Data is retained and accessible in original form from generation of data, recording, use, retention, archive and retrievable, and destruction to ensure data integrity. This is like from the generating data to the destruction, this is the data life cycle. Recording data. All the recording or information or recording of data should meet Alcoa's principle. Recording methods should be controlled and traceable. Data transfer and migration. Storage media can change without changing the original data. There shouldn't be any changing in the original data during the data transfer or migration. It should keep it as an original. Storage media data transfer process should be validated, and audit trail should be available to ensure that which task is performed by whom and what time and what activity is involved in that task. Electronic worksheet should be controlled. Data processing. Original data should be available throughout the life cycle to use at any future time point. Data process should not manipulate data to get desirable results such as chromatogram. The data should be represented in an original way. There shouldn't be any manipulation or modification to change the result or to get the desirable result. Excluding data should demonstrate with valid scientific justification and recorded with original data. Excluded data should retain with throughout life cycle. There should be a proper scientific justification. However, after excluding, it shouldn't be destroyed. It should keep with the original data pack for the future reference. Original data. First source of information can be paper, observation, electronic record, including any supportive data required to regenerate the GMP related activity. Original data can be static and dynamic. True copy. A verified copy by second person which contains same data information as original copy. This can be paper, electronic and written throughout the data lifecycle. Computerized system transaction. It can be a single or series of operations to perform the transaction. This can be performed manually or controlled by automated system. Critical steps should perform record contemporaneously and save before to make any changes. E-signature audit trail should introduce to capture this kind of operation. Audit trail. A form of metadata containing information associated with action that relate to creation, modification, or deletion of GMP records. For an example, chromatogram integration on HPLC data. This is the original data, and audit trail content it's performed by whom, what time. This gives the support for any modification performed on the original document. So that's why audit trail is a metadata. Secure recording of any type modification of data such as creation, addition, deletion, or any alteration for paper or electronic data. Audit trail facilitate the reconstruction of historical event during the investigation. So this is very useful for any investigation in future time point. Systems should be risk assessed for clearly identified user access level. Each and every person should have different user access level. This is very useful to control the data. Computerized systems should always provide retention of audit trail to review changes. When audit trail not possible, alternative methods should be in place, such as logbook. Audit trails should review periodically part of data approval by trained electronic signature. It is a digital form of signature equivalent in legal terms of handwritten signature. Control of e-signature, like it should be attributable, no manipulation, legible, security of access by owner. Where PDF paper copy is signed, metadata should be documented with original. Method of authentication of e-signature should be risk assessed. Only inserted image footnote without metadata is not adequate for e-signature. Data review and approval. Should be a SOP to describe review and approval of data. Errors should be addressed as per procedure like comments or deviation or any explanation. Correction recording process should follow Alcoa Plus principle to ensure the data integrity is maintained. Electronic report should customize to provide all necessary information required for review and approval of report and related documents. If data provided by other organization, then receiving organization should evaluate the data. Data integrity of data supplier and generator. Clearly identify category of routine and periodic data review. Computerized system user access system administration rules. For any data access as per functionality appropriate to the job role, such as like view only, read only, or super user access. Company must able to demonstrate regarding user access level. Individual login required for audit trail to ensure the data integrity. So it ensures the who perform the task. Generic user access should not be used. Additional license purchase should be available for any electronic system. System not used for GMP purpose but contain GMP data must demonstrate control over user access. So nobody can access the data and data can be secured and no manipulation or modification can be performed. System admin rights should not conflict interests of data use. Data retention. All generated data required archive, backup procedure and policies should be available. Data retention should ensure to protect data from deliberate alteration or loss. Data security should ensure by controlling measure or validated system. Original or true copy paper data can be stored by validating scanning process and control storage location. Data destruction procedure should consider criticality and applicable legislative retention requirement. Archive and backup. Designated secure area for long-term retention of data and metadata for the purpose of verification of the process or activity. Should be protected for any alteration and event like fire, flood, pest. Should be an arrangement to permit recovery of data, able to perform full verification when there is a recovery of data. Virtual system can be used for legacy systems which are no longer supported. If full data migration of original is not achievable, risk-based approach in place to protect the data. Original data pack including metadata configured to maintain for recovery, including disaster recovery. Backup and recovery process should be validated, periodically tested for the functionality. Backup policy and procedures should be in place. Backup policy should not affect retention policy. File structure. Data integrity risk assessment should define GMP use, software functionality for intended use, control or security over generated file. Validation for intended purpose. This should comply with regulatory requirement. Functional verification should be demonstrated. Internal requalification schedule should be available. IT supplier and service provider. For cloud and virtual service provider ownership, retrievable retention data security should consider. Impact of law implication of geographical location where data are physically stored. Technical agreement should clearly define responsibility of contract giver and contract acceptor. Software system restoration should be made as per GMP and it should comply with the requirement. Service provider should audited depends on the risk. That's it for this video. Thank you very much.